Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the LTT Podcast. My name is Brendan Plays. This is the show where we answer all the questions that you guys send in every single week on the Brendan Plays forums at brendanplays.com/forums, in the YouTube comment section down below, or over the website by leaving a voicemail by clicking the green button on the right hand side of the page, and also on our Facebook page, Brendan Plays Official. Please, if you haven't already, please check out the Facebook page. The link will be in the description down below. We're getting close to 1,000 likes on the page. On the page, basically, we post a lot of updates regarding our Universe Mode series. Always a new video will be posted on there just about every single time we upload. There's a new video post up there, so you'll never really miss a video. I know the subscription boxes don't always work the best sometimes on YouTube, so you'll never really miss it if you are at least connected on one of my social media pages, or at least a regular viewer of the website. So check out some of that if you are interested, and support us that way. Also, remember to check out our sponsor. It is Loot Crate, where you can sign up using code PLAYS. Check out the link in the description down below. You can sign up using code PLAYS to get 10% off your WWE Slam Crate. It's coming very, very soon. Be one of the first to have the WWE Slam Crate when it does release in October. It is going to be awesome. I cannot wait, and I hope you guys check it out as well. So check out the link in the description down below and use code PLAYS, PLAYZ, and you can get yourself 10% off. Alrighty guys, this week's edition of the show, we're going to cover Survivor Series, which will be coming up this weekend. A lot of questions regarding that, so before we get things going, we'll talk about that. I want to talk about Battlefield 1 as well. Obviously, the beta has come out in the last day, and I've been playing a lot of it. I streamed it yesterday, if you didn't see that. I'll talk about my experiences with Battlefield 1 thus far. And we're going to cover all the latest on Raw and Smackdown. Which show was better again this week? We'll talk about that. And a few little bits and pieces there, and answer as many questions as I can from you guys as well. So it should be another exciting episode of the LTT Podcast. Let's talk Thursdays, let's talk Tuesdays, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so this week, Survivor Series, Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. UK time. It's going to be big. I just got finished creating it today. It's fully done. It's rendered, ready to go. Everything is ready to go. Survivor Series is coming your way, 110% this Saturday. So you will not miss it whatsoever. It is going to be a lot of fun. It's a 2.5 hour pay-per-view just about. So I know a lot of you guys are wondering, well, we wanted it last weekend. Where is it? Well, we're going to make up for it. I've kind of put a lot more time into this pay-per-view than perhaps I normally would. And generally, I don't put... Sometimes I can't get the time to put in the extra effort, the extra mile. This time I have had a bit of extra time up my sleeve to really kind of dedicate and make this one a little bit better. There's a few things that I've noticed in my pay-per-views over the last... well, probably 3 or 4 pay-per-views that I've done, and it's kind of annoyed me a little bit, and I guess I'll share it. It's just basically, my pay-per-views have just been kind of matches and matches and matches. I wanted to kind of spice things up a little bit, include some promos, include some other things, so I've tried to put a few things in there to kind of split it up a little bit between matches and kind of have it flow a little bit better, in my opinion, other than just match. I don't have the time to make a promo for every match. Even for the main event matches, like making promos are probably the worst and most annoying thing to do, in my opinion, so I can't really get the time to create a promo for... I would love to create one for the Balor Club match, but I just didn't have the time. Maybe I could have spent a little bit extra time, but I've decided to kind of get the pay-per-view done a little earlier instead. But, so that's probably the one thing that I could probably include that I haven't, but I've tried to space the pay-per-view out a little bit more and... kind of have a few more breaks in between, I guess you can say. But it's not, filler or irrelevant. It's good stuff. So that's one of the things I've tried to do this time, and I think the matches are really cool. I think it's been a lot of fun. I think it's really, really fun. So I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. If not, well, I gave it my best shot. I tried. This pay-per-view was an absolute disaster to make, from recording issues to delays. It's just been a disaster. So when we get it up, we get it done, and you guys watch it live this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Brendan Plays on YouTube or Twitch, hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and that will be all worth it indeed. So I cannot wait for that. I think it's going to be great, and it will be available on YouTube straight away afterwards, of course, as it always is. There'll be a pre-show as well. I think the pre-show will probably started at maybe 1:20 p.m. Instead of, if the show's going to start at 2 p.m., we might start the pre-show at 1 maybe 120, 125, 130. The pre-show is about 20 minutes long, but I do want a bit of a break between the pre-show and the main show, at least 10, 15 minutes to kind of give me a chance to sort everything out. And also, generally I like to start pay-per-view about 5 minutes, 2:05. We generally start the pay-per-view just so people get a chance to get in there and don't miss any of the action. Because some people there might come along at 2 o'clock on the dot and they don't want to miss the first few minutes of the match or something like that. So we start just a little later to give everyone a chance to kind of get in there. But so that's the plan right now, and hopefully you guys come along this weekend and check out the pay-per-view. Battlefield 1, and I know some of you guys may be wondering, wow, where's the WWE talk? Save the Battlefield stuff to the end, but I really wanted to chat about Battlefield 1. I'm still on the fence of whether or not I'm going to do videos about it going forward. I would love to do something a little different there and make the Battlefield stuff. So when the full game comes out, I definitely think I might sink my teeth into it a little bit and just kind of do some. I know it's not going to get many views. I know most of you guys probably won't care for it, but for me, it might be something that I can really enjoy. So I don't know what I'm going to do exactly yet. That's one thing I haven't been able to really figure out. What can I really do that I'm going to enjoy and really go with? So that's the one thing I have to try and figure out. But so I'm looking forward to playing Battlefield 1 when it fully comes out. But the beta itself, the only problem I really have with the beta is just the only map on offer. It just doesn't appeal to me. It's just not a map that I think is all that great. But I think for the most part the gameplay's fun. I played on the PC and the PS4 versions, and without a doubt, the PC version is far superior. Like I was playing on ultra settings. My computer can actually handle it and run it really, really good. I keep forgetting that my computer is actually pretty good. I never really game on it, so I don't really realize. And I know a lot of you guys would love to have something like this. But I was playing on ultra settings, 144 hertz, good frame rate, you name it, all that computer lingo that I don't care about. But it was on max everything, running beautifully, game looked great, ran smoothly, really, really good. I didn't have any connection issues. I had like 10 ping. I was just running around really nicely. The map is the only real issue for the beta, and I really hope they bring out a second map for the beta sometime this week, because otherwise I'm really going to get bored of it pretty quickly, because the map is really sniper orientated. I think because of the largeness of it and the openness of it, I think for myself and personally, I've been more inclined to snipe, because I feel like when I run out of a building, there's a sniper right on me, looking down a barrel of his scope and about to pop me off and take me down. So to really counter that, I've had to kind of play as a scout myself, which is a little bit frustrating because I like to be more of an assault, run and gun kind of guy. That's my type of style. So to not be able to play that, and it's a little out of the norm and a little frustrating at times. There's been probably 2 or 3 games that I've played where it's really close quarters and run and gun orientated on Conquest, and that's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. Obviously, a lot of bullets is required to get the kills, so it's a bit more skill. I've noticed that I've kind of struggled a little bit at times. The guns aren't as good, but that's a little bit more realistic. So it's been more of a challenge, and that's a challenge that I'm looking forward to doing. I mean, it's going to mean the best players will really shine and the bad players will do really badly. So that's what I want to see, to be honest with you. So I'm looking forward to Battlefield 1, definitely. Like I said, just one more map. And I think I may stream it again throughout the week, so keep an eye out for that. Maybe I'll stream it before the Survivor Series pay-per-view goes up. So that'll be something to kind of keep myself busy and for you guys to enjoy. So we might have a big, big stream on Saturday for you guys to enjoy. So I am on the PS4 and I am on the PC, so if you guys want to play with me, let me know and we can organize that, so when I go on stream, you guys can come along and join and play, so that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so Battlefield, it's looking good. Like, I was obviously incredibly hyped for it. I haven't been disappointed yet. I have not been disappointed. I know the map, I'm not really liking it, but I know there's going to be other maps that I really do like, and when I get to play those maps, that's when the game's going to shine. I'm not a big fan of Conquest, not my game mode. Rush, not so much either. So when I get maybe Team Deathmatch or some other close quarter game modes, that's when I'm going to be really into it. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's get into the wrestling chat for the week. And first up, Alberto Del Rio. Going. See you later. Goodbye. Del Rio. Rumor is right now is that basically his contract is over. He's been terminated. He's going. He's leaving the company. sooner rather than later. And all I can say is good riddance. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I mean, is anybody really at this point sad to see him go? Because he's come in, he had a really mediocre US title run. And I heard a rumor today, the original plan was for him to have Paul Heyman as his manager, as a babyface manager, and to be the top babyface to really promote into that Mexican market, which I think is just crazy, honestly. Del Rio, I just don't think can be a babyface, and certainly one that's going to be popular. Plus, the guy, he's 38 years old. I mean, come on. If you're going to really look for the future and be the next quote-unquote Rey Mysterio in terms of popularity, look for someone who's 30. Look for someone who's, in the prime of his career. Del Rio's no longer in his prime. He's on his way out. Del Rio's getting old. He's done. He's a has-been. And he's from that group and that crop of superstars that, I would say that 2010 to 2012, 13, maybe 2009, we'll stretch it back a bit further. That crop of superstars that just sucked, honestly. That, from that age where it just WWE was bad. And Del Rio was on top during some dark times. 2011, 2012, go back to Del Rio and Sheamus, Del Rio and Big Show. I mean, there's been some real sleepers from Del Rio, and him as a top guy, I don't think he's ever really been that great. I don't think he's ever really been that over. Doesn't get much heat, doesn't get much reaction when he's a babyface. Don't think he really has much value. I just don't think he's got what it takes to get over and become a top guy. As a mid-card act, yeah, not too bad. I mean, whatever. I mean, upper mid-card, I think that's a decent spot for him. In the Mexican Sheamus, as he's obviously compared to quite a lot. That's fine by me. So, have him have a match with the likes of Cena and Ambrose and Styles and whatnot on SmackDown. Have him lose and maybe beat a few mid-card guys. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Feud with the IC Championship here and there. Fine, cool. But I guess that wasn't good enough for him, and he wanted to be a top guy. I guess now he feels as though his brand might be tarnished a little bit, and he's entitled to a bit more, and he might be going back to Lucha Underground. Maybe he'll go back to AAA. Perhaps even TNA might put an offer in for whatever money that they have, the $3.25 that they have left in the bank. Maybe that's enough to entice him to go there. I don't think so, but it's worth a try. So, look, who knows where he's going to end up. My best bet, he'll go to AAA, he might work the indies in America, do all that, and maybe Lucha Underground will try and get him back for Season 3 at some point. I'm not sure if they started filming for Season 3. They probably have, so they might try and get him back for the next season. I heard that he can wrestle anywhere else pretty quickly, so I don't think he's got like a 3-month no wrestle clause. What's that clause called? I'm not exactly 100% sure, but he I think can go elsewhere sooner rather than later. So, a no-compete clause, I think that's what it's called. So, yeah, so we'll see where he's going to be pretty soon. And, yeah, I mean, if TNA can get him, it would be a good pickup for them. They've got, Damien Sandow lately, so Del Rio wouldn't be a bad pickup from them. But I think for WWE's sake, good decision to let him go. I think he wasn't really happy to be back anyways. I think he was just back for the money as it is, and that's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he generally wanted to be back and was excited to come back. But you got to remember, the way he exited the first time wasn't on great terms at all. And, I guess getting, I think, nearly upwards of towards $1 million for a year, that's pretty enticing to come back, work with that type of money. Well, I don't know what the contract was, probably $750,000 or something like that. That's pretty good money. You come in and you work a year and you leave. So he's come back, made some more money, probably saved as much as he possibly could, and shacked up with Paige as well, and off he goes. So I would probably assume that whole Paige relationship will die out pretty quickly when Del Rio leaves the company, though. So if it's already over already, I mean, let's be honest. So we'll see. And honestly, not sad to see him go at all. All right, so move on to this week's Monday Night Raw and SmackDown discussions. Now, this week, it's a tough one for me. Which brand is better? The last 4 weeks, I think it's been 4 weeks, might be 5. How many have we had? I've kind of lost count now. I should be kind of keeping a counter and keeping tabs on this, but I'm going to assume it's been the last 4 weeks. SmackDown's been the better show. The first week, Raw won. So let's just assume it's 4 wins for SmackDown, 1 to Raw. I'm going to have to say, though, I got to give Raw the win this week. It's close, but I'm going to give Raw the win because of a great start and a great main event. Now, sometimes you might be wondering, it's got to be all about the whole show, not just about one match. And I definitely agree. On that, but that one match at the end and a great start to the show was so good, I thought, that SmackDown did nothing to get even close to topping it. So, for me, Raw's going to take the victory. I'm trying not to be biased either. I'm a SmackDown guy. SmackDown's my show, but I got to give credit where credit is due, and Raw did pretty well this week. Now, that's not to say Raw was good overall. I skipped an hour and a half of Raw. I fast-forwarded a lot of stuff, but when the stuff that I didn't fast-forward through, it was pretty good. So, I will give Raw the win this week. So the opening promo was really good. They had the Fatal 4-Way guys out there interacting with Corey Graves as well. I liked that. I really did. I think all guys came up pretty good. Owens was really good on the microphone. Rollins not too bad. Big Cass said a few things, and he wasn't too bad. Hung with the guys. Roman Reigns didn't say anything. Good decision. Just let him beat guys up. That's what he should be doing. So they did that opening promo really, really well, and it really set up for a great match later on. We'll get to that in a moment. The problem I had with Raw this week was just some boring matches. Sheamus and Cesaro, I love Cesaro, but I just don't want to see a best of 7. I'm bored of it already. I really am, and I had to fast forward to it. I just don't have any interest in it at all at this point. And Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, this feud is abysmal. It sucks. No one cares. Don't care if you got Bob Backlund in there and you have Titus O'Neil beating up Backlund. It's a forced heel turn. It's not working. Titus O'Neil's promo last week was absolutely horrible. Nearly on Kalisto level. It was pretty bad. Let's be honest. It was really, really bad. And I just don't think you can recover from that. It was awful. And those two guys in the ring are not good. They're not good in the ring. You need someone to kind of carry that match. You got no one to really do that. Darren Young in the mic is no good. Titus O'Neil in the mic, well, he's proven he's no good. And they're both no good in the ring. You know what? That makes for a no good matchup. So it's not good. I'm not really liking it. And again, another one I had to skip. And they had the whole Paul Heyman and Stephanie promo this week. So I'm just kind of wondering, what's the deal? What's the plan here with Brock Lesnar? They had him pay a $500 fine, which Heyman came out in $1 bills, which I thought was good. But Paul Heyman kind of tricking Stephanie into letting it slide and forgiving Brock Lesnar and kind of patting her ego a little bit. So it was a little interesting there. I don't think the whole Shane and Lesnar thing is over yet. Do I want to see a Brock Lesnar and Shane McMahon match? Quite honestly, not really. I didn't really want to see a Shane McMahon and Undertaker match either, but that still happened. So I think this match will still happen. Let's be honest, Shane McMahon, he had no chance of beating The Undertaker. Realistically, no chance. And realistically, no chance of beating Brock Lesnar. If John Cena and Randy Orton, these guys can't beat Lesnar, how the hell is Shane McMahon going to do it? He's just going to go out there and get destroyed. And I think Lesnar at this point, I personally am getting a little bit tired of the whole 5-minute, 10-minute beatdown matches that Lesnar is doing. I get it, it's a part of his character and whatever, but I just wouldn't mind Lesnar going back and forth with a top guy for 25 minutes. That's what I wanted to see with himself and Randy Orton, and I didn't get to see that. And I'm just a little disappointed. A lot of people are probably suggesting that Lesnar is starting to phone it in a little bit, and I'm going to have to start to agree. I feel like Lesnar's not giving it his all in the matches. In the promos and things like that, sure, he's doing just fine. But just in the matches, I just feel like he's not giving 110%. I just think his mind wasn't really focused on the SummerSlam match. It was probably still focused on the UFC and trying to get this drug thing out of the way and trying to deal with that. And he just wanted to get this match over and done with. And it kind of felt like that at SummerSlam. So I personally wouldn't be using Lesnar anytime soon. At least not until he's got his whole drug thing sorted out. He's in a good place again and ready to go and ready to work and ready to actually do something good. Because I'm going to have to agree with Ambrose. Even if Ambrose is not telling the truth, which I still think he is, I feel like Lesnar was being a bit lazy at WrestleMania. I thought his WrestleMania match sucked. And I'm not going to say the SummerSlam match sucked, but it was very underwhelming and didn't live up to the hype that I was expecting. So maybe that's laziness on Lesnar's part. Maybe it's poor booking and whatever. But yeah, that's just my opinion. So I don't really want to see a Shane and Lesnar match. And I guess that Lesnar probably will be off TV for a while. But I heard they're going to do a match the night before Clash of Champions, I believe. Orton and Lesnar in a rematch at a house show. I mean, what kind of sense does that make? Why not do it on the pay-per-view, Clash of Champions? If you're going to have Lesnar work the pay-per-view, why not have a rematch? Doesn't need any build, I guess. Just have Heyman cut a couple of promos. You don't waste any appearances except for one at the pay-per-view. You're already going to use it anyways. Why not use it when it matters? Why not have a rematch? People, I think, personally want to see a rematch. I want to see Randy Orton kick Lesnar's ass. So to have that on a house show is really disappointing. That really sucks. Not gonna lie, I'm really disappointed about that. So the Fatal 4-Way match at the end, Kevin Owens, your new Universal Champion, and the longest reigning Universal Champion of all time. What a reign it has been. He is the man. He's the longest champ ever for the Universal title. What has it been, a few days? So, look, right decision last week in the show. I said I would like to see Kevin Owens win. I felt like Reigns and Rollins would just be the same old thing. We've seen Rollins as champion for over a year, not long ago. We've seen Reigns as champion not long ago. So I feel like someone fresh needed to win. And Finn Balor was really, I thought, the perfect guy. But hey, Finn Balor goes down, someone else has to step up, and now Kevin Owens gets his moment. And now they've really solidified Kevin Owens as a main eventer. I always thought Kevin Owens was an upper mid-carder. Up and down, up and down. Now he's the champ. I guess now he's the top heel, one of the top heels in the company with Seth Rollins. So that's good. That's great. Now they've established a new top guy, something that Raw needed to do. This is the whole thing about the brand split. This is the thing that I've liked the most about the brand split. Guys like Ziggler, Styles, even Ambrose to a lesser extent. These guys getting more airtime and more main event level time and really showcased and positioned as top guys. Whereas in the past, just be Cena, just be Orton, maybe Reigns, Rollins, just a handful of guys. And then you have guys like Ambrose going up and down, up and down. You wouldn't know what to think. Now they've solidified them. This is it. These guys are top tier names. And you have a group on SmackDown that are top guys, a group on Raw that are top guys. It's great. And if they ever have to combine them again, well, at least at the end of the day, they've made a lot more stars. And whilst, yes, winning the championship doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a star, but I think the reaction that Kevin Owens got, I think the social media response that Kevin Owens has got has been so positive. I think it was the right decision. I think Kevin Owens now really could be a great champion. I think he is so entertaining in the ring, a great performer on the mic, a really entertaining performer, and I like what they've been doing with him. I think he and Jericho are hilarious, and I wouldn't even mind seeing them have a match or something like that. I don't know. I just think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there. And it should be very, very exciting indeed to see him finally get the run. And I don't think he should have been champion anytime soon. I think this is the right time. I think this is probably the right time to give him the championship. Any sooner, you probably wouldn't be able to believe it. And if they had waited, you probably would have said, well, they probably missed their chance. They should have probably done it here. So I think this is a great time to do it, and I think Kevin is going to be very successful. Thought the match was great. I'm glad they gave it plenty of time as well. It had to have plenty of time. It's a huge Raw main event. The ratings showed it was a good little bump in the ratings. Not huge, but still, they got a decent rating compared to where they've been lately. It was a pretty good rating, and I think they deserved it. They had a big match. They hyped it up for a couple of weeks, or for a week at least, and hyped it up all throughout the week. And I think it delivered. I think the fans came away pretty excited about it. The Triple H interference, I mean, who the hell knows? Is Kevin Owens going to be Triple H's new guy? The Authority coming back? Or is this Triple H just acting alone? He doesn't like Seth, doesn't like Reigns, but, Kevin Owens is the lesser of the two evils. I don't know. But all I know is I'm excited for it. I love Triple H, and his involvement will be certainly exciting. Will it mean now we might see Reigns and Triple H have another match? Possibly. Will we see Rollins and Triple H, a match I've been wanting to see for a long time? Potentially. Will we see even maybe a return of the Shield, a tag team? Rollins and Reigns, they team up to take on Triple H. Maybe. Triple H and Owens. Will we see this kind of be dragged out a little further and be turned into a Survivor Series match? Maybe. The possibilities are kind of endless, aren't they? And some people are even throwing out the suggestion that this might be an NXT stable in the making. Triple H joining up with Kevin Owens. Maybe they'll bring up the Revival. Maybe they'll bring in Aries. Maybe Sami Zayn will join. A lot of people are kind of speculating there. Not 100% sure if that's the case. Honestly, though, if done right, that would be really, really awesome. No joke. That would be really, really good. There's a lot of guys they could bring up, but I feel like if they brought them up and put them all on Raw would just be dominating. It'd be unfair to SmackDown, realistically. SmackDown wouldn't be able to compete. So that would certainly tip the balance into the favor of Monday Night Raw in terms of roster star power, which a lot of people already think Raw has the better roster already. I personally think they're pretty even. I don't think either brand could really stake a claim that they have the best roster. I think both have their positive and negatives. But, so the Triple H involvement is very interesting, and I guess next week we're going to find out more, and hopefully we see a little bit more Triple H. But I hope we don't see the return of the Authority. I'm kind of sick and tired of the whole Authority gimmick. And Stephanie, obviously, she played up that she had no idea Triple H was going to do that, so maybe we won't see an Authority return. I don't know. But who knows? They'll spin it some way next week, and we'll kind of find out more from there. But all I know is I'm very, very happy to see Kevin Owens as the champ. Move on to SmackDown this week and have a little bit more to talk about SmackDown this week. Kick it off with a strong rating again. SmackDown, their best rating since the draft. Best rating since becoming a brand again. I think they got 2.8 million viewers, which is great. I think their best might have been, like 2.6 or something like 2.7. So a strong rating, and maybe they actually got a 3 million. I don't know. Maybe it's this. I don't know. It's good. It's good. That's all I know. I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but it's a good rating. And I think maybe some of the hype around the Daniel Bryan and the Miz thing may have helped out there, or maybe people are just starting to get more in tune to watch SmackDown more. I think people are starting to warm up a bit to SmackDown, give it a chance, and really start to enjoy it. Maybe that's the case. I don't know, but I think SmackDown was great again this week. I really like SmackDown. Honestly, I look forward to SmackDown every week. It's the show that I look forward to the most, wrestling orientated every week. And some weeks I look forward to Raw, other weeks not so much. SmackDown, I generally want to get up in the morning and watch SmackDown. So that's a positive. I just like the way they do the show. I like the way they produce the show. I like a few different things they do. I like the roster. I like the way they've been booking characters. I like the way they've been positioning some guys. It's good. It's good. I really do. And I like the Talking Smack show as well. That's fun. A lot of things going SmackDown's way. And I did watch Talking Smack as well. And they had Rhino and Heath Slater on there and AJ Styles and stuff. And it's just a general, casual kind of talking show. It's not all kayfabe driven. Sometimes they kind of, for example, they talk about AJ Styles' kids and stuff. It's just like a group of people chatting. And I like that. I like that it's not so serious at times, and they can just have a chat, and it flows nicely and it works. So Talking Smack is getting better and better every week, in my opinion. So keep an eye out for that if you haven't already, and if you have the network, of course. I thought The Miz started off the SmackDown with another good promo. Disappointed that they didn't have Daniel Bryan and The Miz interact again. I would have liked to have that kind of continue. Bryan seems as though he said on SmackDown that they shut that down. They didn't want that to happen. I guess they probably didn't want the people kind of speculating, is he going to get in the ring again, blah, 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 blah. But I think it would have made sense if Bryan had made The Miz's life, a living hell, and put him in a fatal 4-way, put him in a 6-man, something crazy, put him in a stipulation match, put him in a steel cage, put him in a ladder match. Test him a little bit and see if he's a coward or not. Wouldn't that make sense storyline-wise? But he did really nothing. All Shane said is, don't get involved and see you later. That's pretty underwhelming. That was a bit of a disappointment this week. Would have liked to see a little bit more there, of course. And then we got The Miz and Dolph Ziggler again. That's the plan for Backlash, a match that we've seen 1,000 times. So, not really looking forward to it at all. Seen enough. I would say Miz will probably win. I don't see him losing the match after getting all that momentum, so that really wouldn't make much sense. But another loss for Ziggler would mean that he's gone from losing the world title match to losing the IC title match and potentially going further and further and further down the card. So that's not a good sign for Dolph Ziggler. I just want to say this week, AJ Styles, wow. Styles better win the title at Backlash. Best heel in the company. Really loving everything he's doing. Great match with Apollo Crews. Kind of really helped Apollo Crews gain a bit of momentum. I mean, yes, he still lost, but it was a good showing from him. A good impressive performance against Styles, and that's something that Cruz, I think, has been lacking. A really good match to kind of get the fans behind him a little bit. And this was a nice match. This was really well done, and I think Cruz got a bit of momentum from that, hanging nicely with Styles. Both men kind of gelled well together, I thought. So that's one to look out for. I would like to see Cruz get a push. Cruz is great. I would love to see him get an opportunity. I wish he had won the IC Championship. I wish he had a chance to get that push and be positioned higher, but for whatever reason, they're not really doing that. And I'm surprised they haven't gone with the whole Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews full-on feud yet. I'm glad they kind of dropped the whole Kalisto and Corbin thing. Maybe it's still going to keep going, but at the moment, that's just really, really embarrassing. But yeah, plenty of potential for Crews to move into that upper mid-card, perhaps even a lower-tier main event guy soon. Perhaps, in the next year or two, he may be one of those main event guys, and that would be, I think, pretty awesome. We saw the return of the Headbangers, who took on Rhino and Heath Slater. Heath Slater had a pretty little skit there. I liked it. It's just kind of goofy, but it was funny, it was silly, and it was good. Having Heath Slater and his fake wife and Rhino just sitting there eating crackers with Renee Young, really awkward. But I thought it was funny. I thought it was silly, and I really thought the people who had Heath Slater's kid signs in the crowd, I thought that was great. That was that was really good. So whoever handed out those signs, kudos to you. That was pretty funny. So the match, the Headbangers, for some reason, I don't know what they did, but Rhino needed 10 stitches. I think they gave him a stiff shot. Heath Slater got a bit of a busted nose. So I don't think these guys are ever going to come back again for another match. They were sloppy. Your first match back in years in the WWE, and you give a guy 10 stitches. That's not good. That's not good, and I feel like we may have seen the last of them. And I couldn't care less. I mean, I don't even really know who they are. I haven't seen any of their matches, or at least I can't remember any of their matches. So I know of them a little bit. I've heard of the name, but I haven't really seen too much. So I'm not exactly excited to see them back or anything like that, so I really couldn't care less. And I thought this week's main event on Smackdown was really weak. Ambrose and Corbin. Again, very predictable where that was going to go. AJ Styles always was going to interfere. Styles kind of, getting caught on the ropes and in a bad position, and that was it. So Raw had a huge title change finish, and SmackDown had a guy, hurting his dick. So there's a difference in the two shows this week. Disappointing from SmackDown. I just know they could be better, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. But hopefully they start to pick up some steam again next week. Obviously, Backlash, I think it's going to be a really, really good pay-per-view. The Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt situation is looking good as well. So I think Backlash will be pretty good. But coming off a really good Raw in terms of a great finish and a lot of build and excitement around it, it was always difficult for SmackDown this week to kind of live up to the hype and really deliver. Alright, so that'll do it for this week's SmackDown and Raw discussion. We're going to move on to the last bit of news for the week, and that is the Ryback podcast. A little bit of controversy. Ryback started his own podcast, if you didn't know. The first episode is available on iTunes. I listened to the whole thing, and look, I agree with a lot of things he said. Basically, some of the things he said is that he believes that the WWE should be paying for more travel expenses and hotels. So the wrestlers, he said that he's spending basically $150,000 a year in travel expenses, and he was going to make $500,000 a year. And that was his contract. So he believes he's going to take $150,000 out, and he didn't really believe that was enough money for him, and he thinks it's unfair, or whatever. I have to agree. I think the WWE should be doing more of the travel expenses for talent. I think talent shouldn't be allowed to get 5-star hotels every single night, but I think they should be looked after pretty well. I mean, WWE makes a fuckload of money, so maybe they should be 5-star hotels. Maybe they should be putting really nice hotels every night and treat them well, because without them, they don't make any money. There is no company, so they should be treating them well. And after all, that these guys, they put their body through, a good night's rest is what they need. You hear stories from the Attitude Era, like the likes of Mick Foley, who would sleep in really cheap hotels, guys sleep in their cars, do whatever they can to save as much money as they possibly can so they can have a healthy and good lifestyle after wrestling. So if guys have to go to that extent to do that, I think that's an issue. So I have to definitely agree with Ryback with what he said there. The other discussion was that Ryback was going to verse AJ Styles at WrestleMania and quote-unquote squash him. That obviously didn't happen. Take that with a grain of salt. Who knows? Maybe it was going to happen. Maybe it was just a conversation. Maybe it was just a passing thought. Who knows? But, the Chris Jericho and AJ Styles thing, I like that. So, I was pretty happy with that rivalry. I didn't really think the WrestleMania match... Actually, no, I thought the WrestleMania match was pretty good. I didn't like that Jericho won, but, it is what it is. So, yeah, definitely give the Ryback podcast a listen. Yeah, he says some interesting stuff, kind of things that went wrong for him, why he left the WWE and stuff, basically saying that he felt as though his brand wasn't being utilized as well. And he was a little frustrated that, he couldn't get outside sponsorship deals, he couldn't get on the magazines, and a lot of things just weren't going his way, and he was just frustrated at that. And I guess I can respect that. I mean, CM Punk, pretty similar stuff. CM Punk was frustrated, obviously had the injuries and stuff, but CM Punk was frustrated with it. He couldn't get outside sponsorship, and other guys could, and Ryback was a little bit of the same there, and some of the certainly some similarities there. So it seems to be a bit of a growing trend, and some guys are getting frustrated at it. I think Ryback can go anywhere and do okay. He's getting $5,000 per independent appearance, which I think is okay. We've seen guys like Rey Mysterio ask for $20,000, so I think $5,000 for Ryback is pretty fair, honestly. Fresh off WTV, look, that's not a bad price. And I think, has a size and presence and can certainly be utilized pretty well by any company that wants to pick him up. TNA, if they got him, that would be great for TNA. I think Japan would be fantastic for Ryback. I think that might be the best fit for him. I've been hearing some rumors that he might be in talks with Japan. Lucha Underground, I don't see that working. Ring of Honor, no. So really, for me, it's probably TNA or Japan or just independents. Just work the local shows. So that's where I see Ryback at the moment. I think he's working on a website and his own supplement things and whatever. So he's doing good. I'm a big Ryback fan. I'm really sad to see him go, but hopefully he does well in his outside stuff. And check out his podcast already if you haven't, and it's definitely worth a listen. I think he's going to be talking about a lot of things that happen in the next couple of episodes. So if you want to hear some dirt and some, backstage stuff, definitely give that a listen, and you'll be able to hear that. All right, so let's get into some of our listener questions, and the first one is a voicemail.
Hey, Brendan, I've been a long-time listener, but I never took my time to send in my question. However, while I was watching Raw, I started wondering, because in my opinion, the only two great episodes of Raw were the first one and the last one, and both of them had a title match. The first one was Sasha's, and the last one was Owens. I loved both matches. I marked out for both of them winning. I'm a big fan of both of them. However, my question to you is, can Monday Night Raw be great, be fantastic without a title match? Because I know Smackdown can, because they had a pretty good match, a pretty good show without a title match on the 23rd. I'm not sure if Monday Night Raw can. What do you think? And I'm sorry if I had any mistake when it comes to the language, but I'm from Brazil, so that's the reason. So keep up the great work, and goodbye.
This is a really good question, and this is something I've also thought about myself. You're right. Both times Raw has had a great show. It's been basically because of a huge title match moment. Sasha Banks winning the championship, Kevin Owens winning the championship. Every other time, they haven't done so well. And this is something I brought up the first week when they I guess, won that week and I had that title match with Sasha Banks. I brought up the fact that, look, Sasha Banks winning made the show great. And when they had all these contendership matches to get ready for the Universal Championship and prepare for all that, they had Finn Balor come out, yada yada, all these massive moments to kick off the show. I thought, okay, they've basically blown their load, and now what can they possibly do to top it next week, the week after? Is there going to be any continuity? Is there going to be any follow-up there? And there really wasn't. It was just back to normal the next week, the week after. And basically this week's show was all the same as well, apart from a big main event. And the only reason why this happened is because it got vacated. So you have to wonder, if this match was not on the show, was Raw any good? No, it really wasn't. So if Finn Balor was still the champion, what would we had instead? Maybe a Finn Balor and Seth Rollins tag match. Maybe they're versing each other in a tag match. A couple of promos between one another throughout the show. Would that have been as exciting? Probably not. So the reason why, 100% you hit the nail on the head, the reason why Raw has won is because of a title match moment. SmackDown, on the other hand, have been winning because of good booking, interesting storylines, character development, and just overall different production and different little things that just have enhanced their show. They've been a little bit different. So I think SmackDown will generally win more often than not. Another big reason is because of the 3-hour factor, and I've said that so many times, but it's always going to come into play. Raw can have a good hour and a half, and they generally do have a good hour to an hour and a half. Then maybe half an hour filler. That's okay. There's your 2 hours done and dusted. Raw, hey, not too bad. But the problem is, they have a good hour and a half, then they have the rest of the time as filler, or it's not so good. And that's when you go, wow, this is really draining, yada yada. So it takes it out of you. It's not as good at the end of the day. You finish watching the show, and you're not as satisfied. You had to get through a lot of crap to get to the good stuff towards the end, which is disappointing. Whereas SmackDown will have a good start, maybe, have a bit of a weak segment here or two, but the rest of the show is pretty good. So you're getting probably, an hour and 20 minutes of a decent show. So I think for the most part, SmackDown will always have that advantage. And I think SmackDown, for me, has a more interesting roster. AJ Styles has been killing it. Ambrose and Ziggler have done some great promos before this. Randy Orton, I think, is really good right now. Bray Wyatt, still need to see a little bit more from him. Hopefully he gets going again. The Miz, fresh off a really hot promo last week, did a pretty good one this week. So I think there's a lot to like. SmackDown has got a lot of buzz right now. Everything's kind of going right for it. So you're not wrong. I think Raw has to really change the way they're doing things and certainly follow the trend that SmackDown is setting. Whoever's writing SmackDown is doing well because SmackDown has really, really improved. The ratings are doing well. I hope SmackDown overtakes Raw in the ratings. It's unlikely, very, very unlikely. And even if they did, they would probably shut that shit down because they just, for some reason, always want Raw to be number one. But I hope SmackDown does because SmackDown deserves it. Raw doesn't. Raw is too inconsistent and it's just simply not good enough. So SmackDown will be my show going forward until Raw fixes their shit. If Raw does good, trust me, I'll give them the credit. But 2 episodes, they've done good and they've beaten SmackDown. 2 title changes. See the trend? Alright, so we'll move on to our next question here, and it's coming from James Lloyd. His question is, who do I think will beat The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship, and when will this happen? Well, I would have said Apollo Crews, but I really don't know now. You think about it, who are the babyfaces kind of emerging and coming through on SmackDown? You can't really pick many. I mean, Ziggler is a chance. I feel like that would be a step backwards for Dolph Ziggler at this point. I don't think that'd be the best idea. Actually, is he even competing against Ziggler for the champion? I think he will. I don't know. But I think that's a bit of a step backwards. I think Apollo Crews would be great, but they've kind of had that and he's lost now, so they have to kind of pick someone else there. Honestly, I have no idea. Kalisto, he's got no momentum whatsoever. Who really else is there? This is a bit of a problem that SmackDown has. So, honestly, I really couldn't tell you. I'm going to take a stab and say it's going to be Apollo Crews, but even then, that's not really looking likely at this point. I think The Miz might be champion for quite some time, unless a main event guy like an Ambrose steps back and kind of goes for that title, or a John Cena, but I don't really see that happening. This one is from Jonathan Westcott, so it's a long one, bear with me. Do you think Kevin Owens winning the WWE Universal title, I should say, indicates that Finn Balor will return at the Royal Rumble? Do you think Kevin Owens' victory and establishment of the new era is a precursor to determine if AJ Styles will defeat Dean Ambrose to become champion? Do you think defeating John Cena qualifies him to become champion of the new era, essentially? First question, I think Finn Balor will probably be back around Royal Rumble time. There's a big chance he might return at the Royal Rumble and win it. Just depends on his body. If he's ready to go, I would book him in as a Royal Rumble winner right now. Honestly, couldn't see anyone else doing it at the moment. So I think Finn Balor, a big return at the Royal Rumble, hopefully a surprise return. Hopefully don't leak it out. Have him back at the Royal Rumble, come in, win. Huge moment, a lot of fun. People will love it. So that would be a great moment. The New Era stuff, I don't know. Look, Kevin Owens, his victory was not meant to happen. It happened because Finn Balor went down. So I don't necessarily think he's going to be, the face of the New Era or whatever you're trying to imply there. And AJ Styles, he's the same age as John Cena, pretty much. So I don't think it's him qualified to become the champion of the New Era. I think he's just a top guy right now and doing well, and him being champion is, well-deserved in the right time. I think he will beat Dean Ambrose. So I don't know about this whole New Era stuff. I just think it's all about timing. I think the New Era has already begun. I think, I don't think we necessarily need a champion to personify that. I think Ambrose has done well and deserved it. Owens is just another top guy getting an opportunity. So maybe it is, signs of change. But I think signs of change has already happened when Rollins and Reigns and Ambrose got the championship not long ago. I think signs of change have already happened. So those group of guys have already come in and won the championship. I think that's already kind of happened now. So, yeah, I'm happy with what they're doing right now with both brands in terms of the World Championship. So hopefully they keep it going because so far it's looking pretty good. This next question is from the ever so reliable Thomas Spell, always sending in questions. I appreciate that, Thomas. Have you ever considered doing a fan mail series? I spoke about this a little bit on the stream last night, but I would definitely be open to doing it. But the thing is, I don't see anyone ever sending me fan mail, so that's the thing. I couldn't imagine anyone sending me anything. So, it may be if one day I got to the point where people might regularly send me stuff, then sure, I might think about doing that, but I would probably get like one letter a year. So, it's not really realistic at this point. But one day, maybe, if I ever get to that point, definitely I'll think about it. From Jim Mitchell, here we go. Why do you hate Santino Marella so much? Look, Santino, I just cannot stand the guy. He's unfunny jokes, he's shitty finisher, he's goofy gimmick, he's... the fact that he's, you hear that entrance music and you just want to change the channel. It just gives you that vibe. He's just so annoying, so frustrating. It's just that type of guy you just want to punch in the face. He would have been a great heel, and honestly, because I hated the guy. So I just cannot stand him. It just grinds my gears seeing him and hearing his stupid, fake accent. So annoying. What can I say? Shitlister for life. Hall of Famer. Santino Marella is a Hall of Fame shitlister. The honorary member, first ever. Sheamus could be getting there soon one day. Maybe Del Rio might have to join it. I don't know. But Santino is a Hall of Famer in the shit list. And it's well deserved because I think I liked Santino for like 2 weeks when he became Intercontinental Champion in 06 or 07, whatever that was. And then after that, I just didn't give a fuck about him. And, when he dressed up as a woman, I mean, look, think about all the stupid shit Santino has done and ask yourself, why do you like Santino? And if you can give me 3 decent answers, then, well, I feel sorry for you because he sucks. He just sucks. Thomas Speller again. What are your thoughts on shows like Big Bang Theory, Friends, etc.? So what are your thoughts on, sitcoms? I like him. I like Big Bang Theory. Haven't watched it for a little bit. I loved 2.5 Men. Thought that was good. Friends, I recently watched every season, every episode of Friends, maybe 6 months ago, and absolutely loved it. I did it in like 2 weeks. I did it in something crazy. I just binged it all day. Just had it on all day. Loved it. That was really good. By the time I got to like season 9, I was like, oh man, I'm getting a bit sick of this show. But it was great. Funny, really funny, and probably my favorite out of the lot. So yeah, I really like those type of shows. There's a lot of really bad ones, a lot of really shitty ones, but if you focus on the good ones, they can be pretty good. And another one from Thomas Speller. This will be our last question for today's episode of the LTT Podcast. And it's to do with W2K17. Do you think there should be a feature in Universe Mode to turn people heel or face, and to manage the money of your show? Manage the money of your show is an interesting one. I would love to see a salary cap, and I even thought about kind of creating my own salary cap for my Universe Mode and kind of posting that. I thought about the idea of, and maybe I'll still do it one day, but I thought about the idea of giving everybody a contract and kind of having each brand a set amount of money to spend. And, I know this is going like crazily overboard. Like, come on, Brendan, this is a fucking video game. It's just Universe Mode. You don't need to do this. But, this is how I work. I do this crazy shit. But I thought about maybe setting aside $10 million for each brand and assigning money to each talent. The amount of years the contract is in for, all these different variables, and kind of, Smackdown can't sign the free agent Triple H because they're $500,000 over the cap. They can't afford him. Triple H wants $1 million. They've only got $500,000 left on the cap. Things like that. That's kind of these different things I wanted to do. I mean, I guess I don't really need to write that up. I could just pretend that that's the case. But I have thought about kind of doing that. So managing money would be interesting. And to turn people heel or face, well, you can technically turn them, but the thing that I want in Universe Mode the most is just full control. I want to do a cutscene where this guy turns on his partner. I want to do a cutscene where this guy attacks someone. Do a cutscene where this guy, walks down on his partner. All these different things. I want to have the freedom, and I want to have the full control to pinpoint and pick when these things happen. That's the one thing Universe Mode, in my opinion, needs. You should be able to control your show. Not just let it be randomized and be up to the computer. If you want someone to turn heel, you can let that happen. If you want someone to turn face, you can let that happen. You want someone to interfere, you can let that happen. All these different things that I would love to see happen. If Universe Mode can bring that in, that's when Universe Mode will be at its pinnacle. That's what Universe Mode needs to take it to the next level, in my personal opinion. So I definitely would like to see more control, and to be able to turn people heel face would be great. And managing the money of your show, hey, wouldn't be against it. If they want to have money and you want to integrate that, fine. But I think that's probably more of a general manager type of option. So I'd rather see GM Mode come back and incorporate those different things like we saw in the original GM modes on the PS2, those games where you have to manage your roster and sign talent with the money that you've got. So those different things I would rather see on that on the general manager game mode rather than Universe Mode. Alrighty, so that will do it for this week's edition of the LTT Podcast. Not really a lot to talk about in terms of, no groundbreaking news this week, but I hope you guys enjoy this week's edition of the show. Please send me some questions for next week. We kind of need a few more questions. I know some guys continue to send questions in every single week, and I really appreciate you guys, but I would love to see some more guys. If you haven't sent a question in before, let me know. Just try and make it sure the question is something that I generally wouldn't answer already. If I'm talking about the show, what happened on Raw, make it something that I probably might not get to. So let me know and send in a question. Do it in the YouTube comment section down below. You can do it on the forums as well, brendanplays.com/forums. It's free. Join up today. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun over there. We have regular discussions of Raw and the pay-per-views and Smackdown, things like that. So it's always a lot of fun over there. And of course, you can check us out on Facebook. Brendan Plays Official is our Facebook link. And on Twitter as well, Brendan Plays. Getting close to 2,000 followers on Twitter and 1,000 likes on Facebook, so keep that momentum going for us, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. So if you have followed us or liked us over there, thank you so much. And remember to check out the website, brendanplays.com, for all of your Survivor Series coverage. There'll be a new article going up on the website today regarding the ratings battle, and we'll find out who won the ratings draft pick for this month. So that article will be going up today. And hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you all next week. So thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you all next Thursday.